I mean, I always go with it as like, what's the worst that can happen?
Is this thing on?
Hello?
With me, a lot. You're on mute. Oh dear. Did we lose you? Okay.
Did the credits roll?
Yes.
Something. Yeah. The credits should have rolled. I think so. It's
They
one of
did.
those days today. Okay, well that's good. Christina
Yeah.
and I are here. We're here. We're here already.
More important
There
people.
could be somebody else joining us
Oh shit.
momentarily. Oh shit! Hold on. Hold on, please. Hold the line, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this week's UCR Live. I have to add him in. There he is. Hi, Luke.
Wow.
I'm hoping you can hear me now.
That's a bit
We
better,
can.
yes.
Bit better. Okay. All right.
Yes,
we
it's
can only
better
work
than
with what we got.
Yeah, it was better than the tunnel of love that we were in before. It's okay. As you can see, it's only an awesome trio of greatness
It's
today, but
25.
it doesn't mean that we won't give you lots of opinions on things that we have because that's what we're here for. Of course, because I got feelings. Christine's got feelings. Luke's always got feelings about something.
Deep
Not really.
feelings.
Not really. Christina, you are looking real summery, and I'm starting to feel real.
I am.
I'm feeling some kind of way about it. It's not good.
I thought I was on the beach with Jeff. So I got some color, and I mean, it's 85 degrees. It was 85 degrees here today. It was disgustingly humid. Like it's a little too hot for how early it is in the season, but I'll deal with it for now. The pool will be open soon at my mom's house, so that's all that matters to me, and I'll be fine. I need a pool to be in. But...
That's the one thing. Like everyone's always like summer. Yeah, I want it to be summer, but I find you can nearly always get warm. You can't always get cool, and that drives me insane.
Yeah, I'd rather get warm than try to be cold.
I can't, especially with humidity. I can't deal with if it's at night time, if it's hot and there's no airflow, and you're just laying there going, "Kill me now. I want to die in this house."
I'll never be in a situation where I'm not in an air conditioned room if it's humid out at night. No,
I love that.
I will
I love that.
Into a fucking hotel if I need to. Are you kidding me? Like, no fucking way.
It's so Mariah Carey of you. It's like I will not deal with that. It's not
actually
going to be
when
fun.
I was like, I'd say 5 or 6 months pregnant with my daughter, and it was a hot like May night, I guess, like May, June, yeah, because maybe I was like 7 months pregnant. And it was hot out, and I was like, "Listen, the central air in this house had gone. We had like just moved in, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to Home Depot, and I'm getting 3 air conditioners." I went out and bought 3 air conditioners that night, pregnant, mind you. I threw them off the shelf into the cart, and then I got some random guy helping, like his wife with other stuff, to help me put them in the truck. And my husband put them in the windows at night because I was like, I am not going to bed in this weather in my house. Like, no fucking way.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I get that way in summer here. I'm just like, it's not the tea to just be this sweaty and gross all the time. And then you don't sleep, and then when you don't sleep, you turn into an arsehole. Well, I turn into a major arsehole. I'm like, I'm gonna kill everyone. I haven't slept the night before. I'm just like, no, this is not the way of the day. It's going to be the end of everyone's life. And rip some heads off, basically. Because, you got it.
We're having a polar vortex.
We're having a polar vortex and rain bomb this weekend. So that means, that usually means, cyclones for Luke, doesn't it?
We're not, are we? Please.
Yeah, apparently.
I've had so much drama with my yard. Look, I know the ongoing saga with my dogs is that I've got an electrified fence now. So now they've realised they can jump it. So I've had to raise it up higher. So one of them got electrocuted this morning, or jolted, how they do. So now they're scared of it for now. But the problem was my dogs got out this morning and the lady next door was trying to go to work and they weren't going to hurt her, but they were just being intimidating by not letting her get to her car. So they're very much a Bonnie and Clyde pair. I don't know. And if there's rain into the mix, I'm done, man. Can we really deal with this? Honestly. And it's freezing here. I don't know what it's like down there, Steve, but the temperatures at night. In the day, it's not so bad. It's like your spring over there, really, Christina, in our winter during the day up here. But at night, it's warm. Like desert weather.
It's warmish during the day, but at nighttime, it just drops. The temperature just drops.
Yeah.
Why? I don't understand what's happening to my life.
Well, it would be nice.
It's not good enough.
Preserved our beauty or something, but it doesn't even do that. You just get windburn.
Oh no!
It's getting frosty. It's just not the dream, really, is it? It's not the dream of this utopian future where global warming keeps us warm all year round. But no, it's not true. It just makes it. Just make
never how that was sold, actually.
It's supposed to be a hole in the ozone layer that heats up.
That you put on it.
Well, it's supposed to be heating up the earth and melting the polar ice caps and stuff. Everything's meant to be getting hotter. Doesn't feel like it at the moment, just quietly.
Yeah, but it causes weather events, so then we get really cold winters, and
we get
snow, and
Look, if we get snow, I'll be impressed.
Hurtling towards an apocalypse for you.
Oh well, we've all had a good run. I mean, come on. We've all had a pretty good run, guys. Let's get real.
Tell you
no, Christina and I brought kids into this world. We don't want to know
this. Christina, what are you going to say?
So today at work, there was a new person that started. So we all had to introduce ourselves and tell each other a fun fact about ourselves. Now, I've been doing this show for 2 years. I've definitely mentioned the show at work before to at least some of my, closer friends that I speak with. And so my fun fact was that I was on a podcast. Everyone was shocked, whatever. So they were like, oh, how long have you done it? I was 2 years, whatever. So then the big wig comes in, my manager's manager comes in, and he's always really hounded me about certain things. He found my TikTok, said some comments about it because of my drug use, whatever. Because of the legal drug use that I do or shown on the actual TikTok itself, right? I smoke some weed, right? So he comes in late to the meeting and he goes, let's go around and let's say our fun fact again, because his fun fact, was that he likes EDM music. I mean, blown the
what
fuck
a rager.
away. Blown the fuck away, all right? And so this woman tells him, she goes, oh, did you know that Christina had a podcast? I immediately go, fuck. Because the last thing I need is for him to be looking up my fucking podcast now and finding this out. I wish there was a way to block him on this. But I never really mentioned my work or I just really mentioned how busy I am. I don't mention where I work. I've never mentioned
that. No, you
that.
don't. You're all good.
I'm in fraud, whatever,
Yeah.
So
we don't name organizations on this show.
No, and I was like, oh crap! I wasn't nervous because again, I've never mentioned the company, and I feel like I've blocked him on every media outlet there possibly could be. But still, I was just and when we got back to our desks, and he wasn't around. I look at my friend and I go, "Do not ever tell my personal life to this guy ever again." I said, because he is out for me. He found my TikTok, then by some chance he found my Instagram, and now he's gonna find this. I'm completely fucked.
No, you're right. Just say your fun fact is sleeping.
Yeah.
And reading.
I sleep, exactly. I like to sleep. I like to take naps. That's my fun fact.
Look, we try to usually uplift people's careers on this show. You know, what can we say?
don't wanna get fired.
Sometimes the opposite happens, but look,
Yeah.
that's all good.
Especially
We've
if
all
you're a
been
blonde
okay.
bombshell.
We're not we're not you know, incriminating each other too badly.
No.
Lightly.
Oh, I don't know. There's been the line
If you go
few
back
times.
a few years, there's some quality stuff. But you know, who's going to
He does
sift
not
through
know the
years and
meme.
years of shows?
I
That
remember
was
we
a
did a
good thing.
whole show about ejaculate getting in your eye. A whole hour.
Yeah,
On the
Well,
I
that's
was
fact
not
you.
here for that.
Yeah,
Right.
it's
That was-
there.
that's
would've
Luke
had
and
fun.
Marie.
That's where the hot load of hot topics comes from. So that video of Katrina shaking herself is from that episode.
Oh my
Yes.
god.
It's something else.
Damn.
It's a trip.
We are
No,
self-referential here. We really like to, you know, dig our own graves, I guess. Steal from ourselves. Pick our
Well,
own
Some of those
bits. And
panelists,
Never again.
they're long dead now.
I've spoken to a couple of them. I know that the lovely Miss Angel has been tuning in every now and then, and she's like, oh, I feel like I should come and visit. I'm like, please do. We miss her. We haven't had her on for 900 years. We miss our girl.
Yeah,
So,
Marie,
yeah.
I like them both.
She-
They're good girls.
She's back in there. Miss Marie's Floridaing away. I can only imagine what's happening in Florida. Maybe a bit closer to the election, we'll go to Marie for Florida cover of the election. She'll be like, it's fucked up here. I mean, that's about it.
She's the most anti politics kind of person too. So she's like, I don't understand why everyone's so crazy.
Well, she's Jeff's cousin. I mean, come on. Like, she's got enough trauma in her family as it is. Like being related to Jeff's heart. Like, you know, we're just friends with him, and look at how hard it is on us.
Oh.
Imagine how tired we are. Imagine how tired we are. But we've mentioned the lovely shaking bosom of Katrina A. Johnson, so we shall show it so we can advertise and enter this week.
Hot load of hot topics.
I'm
And we
just
had
so
the
happy
lovely
we
book-
got that animated in the end. Like, I'm just so
I know.
glad I stuck that out and got it to move.
And I love it. I love it that it's Vera's voice. Like Cat's
Vera's
body,
voice,
Vera's
voice.
voice. It's just so indicative of the industry and like all the things that are going wrong in the world, isn't it? It's just like, here's Vera's sexy voice put on top of Cat's sexy body to make you interested for 2.5 seconds of our show. But look, we'll take those 2.5 seconds and we will run with it.
All the way to the
I'm
bank.
a bit upset. I'm a bit upset that our local heterosexual and Vera aren't here today, because I would have loved to have seen the conversation they would have had about this.
Oh, that's
So,
Hunter.
Hunter Biden, son of President Joe Biden, was convicted by a jury on Tuesday of lying about his drug use to illegally buy a gun. Now, this makes him the first child of a sitting US president to be convicted of a crime. Hunter Biden faces up to 25 years in prison when he is sentenced, though. As a first-time offender, he will probably not get anywhere near the maximum, but there's no guarantees. And the judge, did not set a sentence. He didn't. Well, the judge hasn't committed a sentencing date at all. Now there was a statement by Joe Biden when this came out saying that he will continue to respect the judicial process as Hunter considers an appeal. But today, he was speaking, I believe, in Italy. Yeah, he was in Italy. And he said, I am satisfied and I'm not going to do anything. I said I'd abide by the jury's decision. I will do that and I will not pardon him.
I really want to get
yeah.
Fox News back just to watch this one, This is he's
Just-
some other shit on Fox News.
Right, yeah, I'm sure they are very, very happy with what's going on here, but it does lead to an interesting conversation now because the narrative from Trump is that it's been a judicial witch hunt about him, that they wouldn't go after the other side, that X, Y, and Z. Well, now the president's son is also,
Yeah,
you
they
know,
set
a
the precedent,
convicted
and they will
criminal.
weaponize the courts for political reasons because they both done the wrong thing, but would they have gone for Hunter had there not been all the Trump drama and vice versa? I feel it is weaponizing the legal system for political reasons. Not saying these people don't deserve to be punished, but I just can see that's also what's at play.
But I think it's like, what's the narrative going to be now? Because, okay, yes, poor me. I'm being victimized. I'm being victimized and bullied because I am the former president of the United States. Now the current president of the United States' son is in the same position you are. He is also guilty. There's not really recourse for that. The truth of the situation is that if you are guilty of a crime, you can be found guilty of a crime no matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're the son of the sitting president or the former president. If you do the crime, I sound like Judge Judy. If you do the crime, you're going to hopefully do some kind of time. Like, there isn't an exemption process because of who your dad is or who you are. Right?
Nobody's perfect.
No.
Nobody's
No,
perfect, and I think
But I think we're going to see a lot more of this moving forward in the political world, where they're going to try and drudge up everything on them. Well, yeah, it might weed out some of these dirty people from politics.
Yeah.
Probably not, because it attracts a lot of dirty people. So.
But imagine if they were this litigious back in like the Kennedy days, because they are notoriously difficult people.
You poured drugs up Marilyn Monroe's ass.
Yeah, like you can get away with allegedly killing celebrities, and all that kind of thing. And it's like this. I do like the precedent that we're going to go after, for lack of a better word, after anyone who is committing a crime, but there's got to be some kind of see-through. Yes, okay, they're guilty, but what does that mean for them? Because we all know that Donald Trump isn't going to jail.
No.
Right, for the massive, and not just not just one count, not just 3 counts, for the massive amount of counts that he was found guilty for. Hunter Biden's probably not going to see prison either.
No.
So what does a guilty verdict mean in this day and age to that? Like, what's the punishment? Because that's the whole thing. If you're going to a court of,
like just being like, haha. Like,
yeah, but is that it though? That seems so petty.
Yeah, What do you think the election is but petty? Everything about this whole election is petty. Everything about Trump is petty. Everything about Biden and his kids are clearly petty. Like, it's just, the whole thing is bullshit. It's all a ruse. I think this is all just
the more
there's actually
smoke and
horrible
mirrors.
shit happening in the world, and we're worried about these ridiculous
smoke and mirrors, like I said.
Yeah.
I just feel like we're getting closer and closer to the Hunger Games, right? It's just like, let's just, at least it'll be something to watch on TV.
Melted ice.
You gotta just give up and let it happen.
World.
But
it'd be wonderful.
I'm sure. Oh god, but Kevin Costner would have to go to work if it was Waterworld, but he doesn't like going to work these days. It's okay. Well, I'm sure that the Biden story will continue to unfold. At least Joe has done his due diligence and going, even though this is my son, I'm not going to pardon him. Like, Hunter found out
Well,
officially.
How
that Hunter,
bad would it be for Biden if he did though? It would. I would get
Can
my
he,
Fox News
though?
subscription back just for that. Like, could you imagine the pile on? It would just look terrible for him to pardon his son of a crime, because then the argument would be, well, pardon the ex-president too.
well,
Can he though? Like, can he pardon? Can he pardon his own son? Like, is that legal? Like,
well, yeah,
I
you
mean, he's the
can.
president.
Apparently, they can
Yeah, this
because
president can do lots of shit.
Wow, that's great.
remember back in the day when as Donnie was going out, there was that whole drama about presidential pardons and who he was going to give a free ride to because of all the COVID-19 drama and the legal drama, and everyone was like, oh, he's going to pardon all these people and they'll get away scot-free, and then nothing happened. Not even his own children were exempt from having to go through the legal processes that they're going through. There was no kind of any of that, which was probably the one smart thing that he did on his way out, was like, okay, I could get us all out of trouble and we could all run away, but who knows? As we said last,
You're on your own.
yeah,
It's
and that's
really
when
benefit, right?
that's when the daughter was like, "See you later."
Yeah.
She was out of there. She's like, "Dad's out of office, and I'm gone before shit gets litigious."
Never seen me
It's like, nice seeing you. I'll see you at Christmas. I'll send you a card. It'll be good. Be good times. But as I said, as we were talking about, with the Trump verdict and all that kind of stuff, this is still such early days when it comes to the election drama that is going to unfold in the next couple of months, that we're not going to know what Hunter Biden's story means in the grand scheme of things for a couple of months yet, because I'm sure it's going to be weaponized. I'm sure it'll be used by both sides. I'm 100% sure. So that story remains to unfold, but there is a story that keeps unfolding that I think we need to put down. My God, baby reindeer
Oh my God.
will not go away.
Jesus
Will not.
Christ.
This Netflix show will not go away.
Have
Now
you seen
the
it, Christina? Have you watched the
What?
show?
I have not. Because honestly, I don't want to anymore because of all
I know.
of this. Like at this point, I feel like I have watched it, and I'm sick of it now. And I feel bad, but I haven't seen it, and I hate it when we talk about it. It's crazy.
Well, we'll get through it quick. Do you want me to explain, Steve, this story?
If you want to, I could do it. So you can go for it if you like.
I'll give it a go. You can clarify stuff, and if I sound terrible as well. Look, Laura Ray is a solicitor. No, she was a barrister now, I think. The lady on the left there, she had gone on now Piers Morgan Uncensored to more or less clarify some of the stuff that Fiona/Martha was accused of. And she actually brought receipts. So she's like, no, here's all the paperwork to show that, yeah, she did have like a more or less an order put on her to stop harassing her and all of this kind of stuff. So it sort of goes against Fiona's argument of I'm completely innocent while she's now attacking Piers Morgan, every single journalist in the UK. It's the same behavior. Amplified.
I'll give a little bit of context and a little bit of information. So, in the Piers Morgan 40-minute interview she with Piers Morgan, Ray detailed her claims that Harvey harassed her for years after they worked together briefly. During the interview, Ray told Morgan that Harvey was dreadful, rude to staff, and she shouted at people. She was inappropriate with a male member of staff. Ray further claims that Harvey tried to follow a male member of staff home. I mean, all sorts of things happened. She threw a book across the office and hit somebody with it. Eventually, my cashier and I had to march her out, and she stood there for at least half an hour screaming abuse. It allegedly continued through leaving daily threatening voicemail messages. Every day I'd come into the office and the answer phone would be full of messages from her, all threatening and nasty. She also allegedly harassed Ray's family and escalated to Harvey falsely reporting Ray to social services for abusing her disabled son, who was 3 years old at the time.
Jesus.
And that's actually in the show, but the story's slightly changed, but it's in the show.
This woman,
she's dangerous.
is a loose unit.
She is dangerous. She has no insight. She does not care. I think she truly believes that she's hard done by and poor her, and she believes the bullshit.
Like that's not even sociopath behavior. That's like almost psychopathic behavior. Like she's just like fixating on certain people and just
trying to destroy them like their entire life. Yeah, that's her. She
can't let up, huh? She can't let go. Can't let up.
No, that's it. It's like a fixation. It's a fixation on, like, obviously the males and the females are quite different. She obviously wants a bit of a rumpy pumpy from the males, and when they don't respond, she like attacks or does what she does. But it's like watching Single White Female or something. It's like she's what a weird story. Like I can't. It seems like every time
for me was when she got legal advice to put her Facebook on private because it was just unraveling completely. She was just attacking, completely nuts. She types exactly like she does in the emails and the phone messages in the show. It was just lunacy amplified. And I know we shouldn't. Everyone's saying like, "Oh, we shouldn't exploit this poor sick woman," but she's doing it to herself. She sought the spotlight, and she's happy to utilize this little bit of fame right now to try and make some bank on it too. And she's not a nice person.
She's okay with being crazy, then that's fine. Like we can say whatever the fuck we want about it. Like, I'm sorry, you're putting yourself out there.
Yeah. But like what
you said, the whole movie was anonymous, right? Like it was based off a true story, but no names mentioned. You're the one who came out of the woodwork, like,
and confirmed it. Like you stepped forward and confirmed it.
She was kind of doxxed, but she confirmed it herself because people looked her up. They found a tweet from her to Richard Gadd that said something about hang me curtains, which was something in the show, and they were able to put two and two together and sort of then, how the internet is then. They all got pitchforks and came for her. But unfortunately, they came for like a nuclear warhead. Now everyone's going down.
Not even a nuclear warhead, like some kind of fucking Trojan horse of crazy. Like you thought it was just crazy because she was a giant wooden horse. Oh no, there's about 1 million personalities. They're gonna sneak out of this giant wooden horse and fuck everyone up. It's like, this woman's crazy. Like, what you should have done was get legal advice as soon as you even suspected that this show was about you or had anything to do with you and your likeness and your story. You get lawyered up.
Right.
I think she got lawyered up after the fact and even after the Piers Morgan interview because they came to her then. There were some sharp lawyers that were going, "Oh yeah, we can make a case out of this. Let's put it on the table for her." Because even though
that's the whole thing. She came back after Piers Morgan for more money. Like Piers Morgan paid her, and then she's like, "Oh, I want more money." I'm like, "That's not how it works, darling."
Yeah.
Like,
you signed your contract, bitch. Out. Your fault. You only got £250.
Well, you wouldn't even got she would have got a media release. That's all she would have got. Like, you don't get a contract. She would have gotten a media release saying this is how much you're getting paid, etc., etc. We could use, and in all that, it would have been, we could use your likeness, words, blah 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 for however long,
forever.
Ad infinitum. Usually now it's and however they like. If you look into these contracts that they ask people to sign, especially for reality TV shows,
Yeah.
You watch
Yeah,
what you're
because you
signing
don't know when it
because
comes back in 10 years' time. Look what they do with Big Brother and stuff. They'll show clips from 20 years ago when the show started.
yeah, it's out. Well, like Christina's discovering, it's out there. Once it goes on the internet, it is out in the universe.
Vindicated.
Lucky me.
For the rest of time, our words are going to be floating out in the universe. Aliens will get it in light years' time. They'll be like, "What the hell?" And it reminds me of that future. I feel like that's what's going to happen with our show, like in Futurama, where the aliens got hooked on the Ally McBeal knockoff, and then it got cancelled. Like the aliens are going to get all obsessed with our show, and one day we'll stop, and they'll come to Earth, going, "Where are these people? We need to know what happened to them."
Our show's shit, remember?
Yeah. But to aliens, we could be fascinating.
Shit.
We could be fascinating to aliens. You never know.
Just hoping for my big break. You know.
I know, right? Hopefully it's
Somebody
like
to know.
queen of another alien planet.
Galaxy far away.
Yeah.
Galaxy far away. In another life. Now,
Away from your boss, mate.
this new story was pretty fucking we're gonna bring everyone right down now because enough about making fun of people with mental illness. We're gonna now talk about dead people because that's how we roll on this show. This week saw the death of Dr. Michael Mosely. Now this story is so sad. So sad and so tragic. He was hiking. He went on a walk by himself while they were on holidays in Greece, and he was found mere meters from safety, from like the difference between life and death was something like 65 or 70 meters. And he was just unable to get back to.
He probably didn't know. Had he known it was only 70
Yeah.
meters away, he would have kept pushing on. But
Exactly, they said if he hadn't stopped to rest, he would probably be alive today. How
Wait, what happened? I didn't read this article.
He died. Yeah, he went on it. So they're on holidays in Greece and with some family, and he was a big walker because he's health advocate, all about the keto
like
guy basically,
doctor and stuff.
Yeah, and he went on a walk by himself and has obviously become lost on the coastal walk and has succumbed to the elements because of the excessive heat, dehydration, etc., and died.
How long was he out there for?
He went missing. He was missing for 5 days.
It was long enough.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
He was 70
Now,
meters.
the area that they found him in was very hard to see. Like so, there were drones, there were police dogs, there were everything out there. But it was on a rocky outcrop near this resort. Like there's the fence to the resort. He died in one spot. There's about probably 70 or 80 meters. The fence to the resort and a bar. He was so close to actually.
Greece is a bunch of little islands. How is it that hard to find him? And then I just
when you don't know
oh, he's gone. A day later.
Well, no, because they were with friends, and he was like a notorious walker. He loved to walk and all that kind of thing. So it was the fact that he wandered off the main path because of the disorientation. He wandered off a main path and ended up in rather rugged areas. Do you know what I mean? So it wasn't a walking path that he was on. It was just a random area.
Well,
it just proves
to both die doing what you love, right? He loved walking.
Not walking. I don't want to die walking. Ew.
He wasn't walking when he died.
No, he was laying down. He was laying down
and
probably gas.
Fucking
fear.
I
don't want to. That's not how I want to go either.
No, fuck.
I don't want body shutting down because of.
I mean,
my
he was
body's
in
shutting
Greece,
down
but where
because
was
of
he
heat
originally from?
exhaustion.
Where was he
Well,
originally
British.
from?
it's just what
British.
he loved.
Ah. Oh my god.
He loved
If you would have said
convulsing
that
on the
at his
ground.
funeral, I would have been like, I would have spit on you. I've been like, fuck you, are you kidding me?
That's
Wasn't walking when he died, the poor guy. Oh my god.
That's
Yeah,
fucked
it would
up.
have been a
Like,
horrible death. No, it would have been fucking awful. And
and
you know, and
Oh
these
my
things
God.
happen though more often than you realise. Like Australia, is
especially
Oh,
here.
dangerous to go. Yeah, Australia is terribly dangerous. It's a lot of tourists, and a lot of tourists drown here too. They don't realise like the tides and that are so strong. They just get sucked. You know,
And
the beach looks so
the
beautiful. Bye.
body-sized spiders.
Oh, they don't really kill
I think-
people.
I
They
think
just
in
scare us.
general though, when you go anywhere alone, like, oh, I don't get these people that go alone on bushwalks
Me
or
either.
hiking or whatever. It's like, who does
I don't
that?
get that.
It's so like to me, the idea of being lost in like the forest or the bush or like that's terrifying to me. Like
Alone too? Like what the fuck?
alone,
like
yeah, because
The second I started not feeling well, I would have turned around immediately and followed my path back. Like I don't understand why I wouldn't be wandering around. You know, I wouldn't put myself in that situation. Like you said, I would never walk alone. I would never let one of my other family members or friend walk alone if we were in a foreign country. And yeah, I don't care how much you like to swim, walk, dance, fart. I don't give a fuck. You're not doing it by yourself. Like we're not where you live. You don't know the route. You don't know the land. Like sorry, it's motorcycles. The windows kind of open.
yeah,
don't
it's
know
just
nothing. Like what are you doing?
it must be a horrible feeling for them to know he was so close as well. Like he was so close, and
so far.
yeah, that's just going to be a tragedy
These
for
stories
his
always
family
aggravate.
and his friends for the rest of their lives, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
that he was
and I
so
think
close to getting help.
kind of like that kind of death too, and it's like a violent death as well. I think it causes so much trauma to people to know that like, your loved one suffered.
Yeah. Oh, he was such a good walker. He should have known better. You know, like.
Well, he was
But
a very, and the
again-
thing is, he was a very fit man. Like his whole thing was about health, fitness, wellness, and it's just like, oh my
You
god,
should look
that's
into
a way to go
survival
out.
also.
That's a
Like,
way to
fuck,
go out,
I
isn't it?
Again, I'm not going to Australia and be like, let's go on a hike, everybody, and then being like, no, I'm just gonna go alone. If I'm not back in 45 minutes, send a search party. Something's wrong. Like I
Let's
just
pop all our babies down near that dingo.
Yeah.
I
We
just
know
don't
how well that
understand, how
works
long
out for
did they
people.
wait? Like, did he not show up for dinner and he left at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then they were
Well,
like, hey.
that's why in the afternoon when he didn't show back up, they're like, this isn't right, and they went looking for him. But it was just,
And they couldn't find him for 5 days.
They couldn't find him.
In
I think
Greece,
it was about I think it was
something's
about 5 days. Yeah, but if you look at the photos, you go, okay, how would you see someone there? Like it's just, and they weren't looking. Obviously, they were looking. They weren't looking in the right area. He was so close to, so close to safety. Why would you look that close if he's lost somewhere? It's like, oh wow, yeah, that's true, really, isn't it? But
again, the second
so R.I.P. Dr. Michael Mosely and thoughts and condolences with his family.
It's 2024.
Now,
again, there's so many things. I have so many questions.
I know.
What about GPS?
But you never know. Look, you never know what's going on when people are behind closed doors as well. Like, he might not have had his phone. I don't think so. That's what a way to go. You wouldn't pick a way to go.
Oh, but Steve, I knew a guy who had locked himself, like put himself in the boot of a car in the hot sun as his way out. Like, what an awful death.
Yeah,
like
true.
In the trunk of a
you never
car.
know people's mental
insurance purposes too. You never know.
Yeah. But I don't know if you guys will have seen this, but it is because it's fairly recent. It's only just aired. Celine Dion has sat down with NBC's Hoda Coffee. This interview, oh my god, is heartbreaking. And this is the first time about her speaking out since her diagnosis with stiff person syndrome, or SPS. It is a very rare autoimmune neurological disease. Literally 1 in a million people get this disease.
That's
Literally.
crazy.
And so she sat down in support of a documentary that is called I Am Celine Dion, which she was making before all of this happened. You know, she was making a documentary about her life, and this is just started to, happen to occur at the same time. Now, this diagnosis was only made public really recently, but the effects of the syndrome were first noticed in 2008.
Wow.
As like cold symptoms. Like, so she would feel like she was, getting a cold, and it would leave her voice spasming and being unable to be controlled. So she'd have pitch issues and all that kind of stuff. So I watched this whole interview. After that, she just went, "Oh no, I've got to keep going. I've got this world tour. I've got everything going on," and so she just blamed it on different illnesses, like a sinus infection and da-da-da-da. And she said she found a different way to sing that would allow her to perform kind of like herself. And then after that, while this is all happening, both her husband and her brother die of cancer, pretty much within weeks of each other. And then she is having these really dramatic issues. The syndrome can cause blackouts. So she can, if she's having an attack or a flare up, she could lose like 2 hours and not know what's happened, not know what's happened to her. Spasms and seizures so violent that she has broken ribs from them.
Whoa.
Maybe that's what happened to Dr. Mosely. He might have had it too.
Now she's
never know.
through all this she's still performing. She's still going on world tours. She's still doing Las Vegas residency. She's still doing all that. She got this, and Luke, you'll be able to probably comment on this as a nurse. One of the treatments that they used to help her relax, to help her body relax, was diazepam. So a form of Valium. She was on 90 milligrams a day.
Oh, wow. That is an extreme dose, which must go to show how elevated her body is. Like, that's
wow.
She would say that she would have a pill.
That high.
Yeah, she said that she would have a pill. She would take a Valium before she went on stage, and by the time she had walked from the dressing room to the stage, she was already feeling the effects of the syndrome again. That's how, how strong it was.
It would appear if you went to a Celine Dion show and she just collapsed. You had to wait 2 hours for her to wake up. She wouldn't cancel the show. She would just, find ways around. She would find ways around it. So for perspective, 90 milligrams of Valium can send you into coronary distress. Yeah, and it can respiratory suppressor.
Respiratory failure, all that kind of thing. So every time that she was taking Valium, she was risking killing herself to get on stage.
That's how a lot of people like China died from abusing Valium while she was drinking alcohol, and they just stopped breathing in their sleep. It's very common.
Yeah, the way that she puts it, she goes, it was actually a really interesting and a little bit heartbreaking. She's like, I'm an apple tree. People come to me for apples, and I give them the best, shiniest, best apples that I can give them. What do I give them if I can't give them apples? I was like, oh, okay, that's really grim. That's quite
Yeah.
grim. But she is in recovery by the sounds of it. She's working her way back. This the documentary airs on June 25th on Prime Video, and I think it'll be good to watch because it actually she physically shows you the response. She was unable to walk. She gets dizzy. She blacks out. She has these spasms, these seizures where she's trapped in her body. And not only she had to relate, but she had to educate her children on what to do if mum becomes unresponsive and she can't tell them what's wrong with her.
Yeah, it's
Like,
scary.
as a parent, imagine how terrifying that is to have that conversation with your parent,
That. Yeah,
with your child.
As terrifying as walking in Greece.
It's like, it's not. So if you are a fan of Celine, who isn't a fan of? You can be the coolest person in the world, but Celine Dion's pretty funny, man. Even in the interview, she's cracking jokes about stuff. So, if you're interested, check it out. It'll be a good watch, I think, but a really interesting interview if you have like half an hour to spare. Now, I think we all saw the next news coming, but huge surprise, Billy Ray Cyrus is headed for divorce from his newest wife, Fire Rose, who he met on the set of Hannah Montana.
How do they all get these names? Like, or do they just name themselves that? Is it a stage name? Has to be.
Who knows? But Billy Ray's actually seeking an annulment, which I don't know that legally you can get, but that's okay. They were only together for 7 months, and he's the one that actually filed for inappropriate marital conduct.
These
Fuck
people are all
too.
messed up.
So she's banging somebody else, obviously.
Oh, she's
I'm sure he does
Yeah.
too. Like, it's just all they're all fucked.
So a little bit more factuality. Billy is asking the court to grant him an annulment, claiming the marriage was obtained by fraud. Billy has given her a deadline of May 24th to get out of his house, and initially is putting her up in at a $500 a night, like paying her accommodation for temporary housing for 10 days. After that, he will pay her $5,000 a month for suitable housing in Tennessee for a period of 90 days or until the divorce is finalized, whichever occurs first. And he has to pay that $5,000 on the first of every month.
That's nothing, Ben. What's that? That's like 5 cents.
It's nothing. It's nothing compared to. Yeah, it's nothing. It's nothing when you But she's getting something. Is he that rich? Is he that rich though?
Achy breaky heart still bringing in money for him. It's still bringing coin.
I guess he has money. He would have money from Hannah Montana
He'd
because
even get money from Hannah Montana still. Yeah,
he would have been. He appeared on the show and he was like,
"Well, I'm sorry, but you think little Miss Barbie doll would marry him if he didn't have money and he wasn't Billy Ray Cyrus? No.
Yeah,
no. She's an aspiring singer, of course. Like, hello.
She's an aspiring rich person.
I'm an aspiring divorcee of a rich person, so if you want,
look,
you gotta go after Billy Ray.
Let's own it if that's what you want. I'd go after Billy Ray.
Apparently,
you know, I don't mind his music. He's all right. You know,
I'd do it.
Abusive and stuff. I'm okay with that. You know me.
Now,
the punters.
We'll stay with the Cyrus family because Miley has just appeared on David Letterman's Netflix show. My Next Guest Needs No Introduction. And he's kind of read Billy Ray for filth, saying that he never really parented her, that Trish, was the parent. That one of the only things she really inherited from Billy Ray was narcissism.
Great voice.
Whoa.
And that she doesn't. the framework that she put it in was really interesting. She said because they were talking about her movie, like them moving from like their hometown to LA for everything, and she said, "I really only understood my siblings in the context of their relationship to what I was doing," which is really quite an interesting thing to acknowledge. Like she didn't know what was going on with her brothers or her sister because she was so busy with her career that that she's like,
Can
oh
I
well,
just
good luck
say,
to them.
and look, like, good on her or whatever, she can speak out if she wants, but I just think it's piss poor form to down, like, air family dirty laundry and down your actual parents in a forum like that, because you can't take it back and you can't come back from that. And so she want to really be like committed to like severing that tie with her own father, because you just don't. I just think it's immoral on her part as well.
But the fracture's pretty big. We were talking about it when we were talking about what Trish Cyrus has written. That family is split firmly down the middle.
We all have
because of the
family
divorce.
members we don't like, right? We all do. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Would you feel good about talking shit about him even on this small medium rather than David?
Well, it
Letterman?
depends.
I wouldn't.
Depends.
I just wouldn't do it. It's just not me. Can't do
No,
it.
I haven't. I want to, but I haven't.
Like, and not to
Now-
a serious level, like where you know you're really downing them, like saying someone was a shit parent. I'm sorry,
really
darling.
interesting
He
thing.
also got you a show on Disney. He got you a lot of shit. So I don't know if he was that shit.
Oh yeah, she acknowledges all that. She said, "Without my dad, I wouldn't exist, and I certainly wouldn't have a career." She admits all that. She's not going on there. She knows. Like her name's he named her as well.
Mhm.
Like he named her. She knows that she owes her career to her father, but it's also. We were talking about last week with Tim and Christina about children of divorce. Even adult children of divorce have these issues that need to be addressed because they fester, they cause family rifts, they cause issues, and obviously the Cyrus family are no different to anyone else. They've got a brother and a sister on one side and the others on the other side. It's like it's messy, and with time, the conversation we were having,
exes and stuff, or mummies marrying daughters.
The conversation we were having last week is that hopefully with time and as people understand each other as adults and outside of the context of their family structure, that a little bit of empathy develops, and you go, okay, this person is a human doing this. And do I judge them because I'm a human also doing X, Y, and Z? So more to say, but Miley also said something really interesting, that the COVID-19 pandemic actually has made her, or given her, really excessive stage fright. She says she doesn't know if she'll tour again because of, being in lockdown. And I thought to myself, and this is going to be our view from here question today. I'll play the little thing. View from here question. Everything's very dramatically paused today. So yeah, Miley says, pandemic gave her a fear of performing, and that she only likes to do intimate venues now. I want you two to think about what are the side effects of that lockdown and that whole thing for you, because I know what mine are, and I thought about it straight away. For me, what the pandemic did is made me acutely aware of people that want to waste my time. I think time, especially in my situation during the pandemic, when my father was terminally ill and we weren't able to, to be in the same room at certain times because of, you're going to kill someone. time became very important, and the essence of importance of work and friendships and family drama and all that kind of stuff really slotted in. So now that we are in a post-pandemic world, if you waste my time, that's one of the worst things you can do. It drives me insane, and I will blow up about it. And it's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing because I think it's given me a shorter leash with people as well. Because I used to forgive people and give people a little bit of grace and go, oh, okay, well, you're busy, you're this, you're that, you're the other. Now, if you let me down once, I'm like, okay, well, you're fucked. Moving on. I'm like, I can't rely on you. It's like, and I know that seems a bit life and death, but that's what it shows me. I'm like, if I ask you for something and you say yes, and all of a sudden you go, oh no, I can't because I farted too hard and shit myself. I'm like, okay, well then I'm not asking you again. Like,
Yeah.
don't like, yeah. So who wants to go? I think it's an interesting question to ask because it made me really sit there and go, oh, that's a lot.
You know
Christine,
what?
I'm picking you.
Luke.
All right, Luke's going. Luke's going.
I never got to experience lockdown the way other people did because I had to work through it. And I obviously was inconvenienced by the lockdown and the fact that, we couldn't go and get groceries the way we did, etc., etc. But I kind of never stopped. I didn't get that isolation feeling. I was probably busier during that whole pandemic than I have been any other time in my career. So I didn't get that sense of ISO that I understand a lot of people did. And it sends people batty too, being locked in your house all the time. I think it's not a nice feeling. And yeah, it would build up anxiety. I know when I was younger and I spent a lot more time at home, I'd actually have to build up the courage to go out to my job where I'd talk to people and things like that. Now, I'm too old and too tired. I just go and do it. But yeah, I never got to have that downtime.
But did it give you? But going through that process, especially as a nurse, what did that teach you about society? What did that teach you about your life?
I could go on and on about society. I think we still live in a society now that people are excessively selfish. Everyone's the main character, and you saw that a lot too. The amount of abuse and aggression during that time from just people in the general public in my industry was awful. It's still a problem now. It's actually, something that they're doing reforms about because it's unsafe for people. But yeah, it taught me though too that, I guess it humbled me in a way that like I can be a little bit like that myself though and say, hey, my life matters too. Like I am the main character in my life because, when my life's over, I'm out, I'm gone. So I have taken more time for myself, and it's been a gradual progress, but now I'm doing things I want to do because I enjoy them rather than because I have to or to please someone else.
Yeah.
There you go. See, there's always something. What about the lovely Christina? Now, you had COVID baby, so your experience was totally different.
Actually, yeah. I had my daughter, and then she was 6 months old, and then COVID started. So it was just like that was it. We were in the house. She was just me and my husband, so that was difficult. Because we were always out with family, and then we had to celebrate holidays by ourselves at home, and it was just really weird. And then when I had my son, nobody was allowed at the hospital. Meanwhile, when I had my daughter, I had like 30 people in the room. And they met my son through the window at the hospital. I was holding him in the room, and my sister and my nieces walked up to the window to wave hello, and then my mom had to come around and wave hello. Like it was just retarded. But yeah, I mean, if anything, like I'm more cautious of germs. To be honest, like I sanitize a lot more, like when I'm done grocery shopping, get in my car, have my sanitizer. Like when I am done doing pumping my own gas, I put hand sanitizer on. Like anytime that I do something and then I get in my car or anything, like I get off of work, I sanitize my hands. I get like then I start driving. Like I don't know. I'm very big about that. Like when we leave gymnastics on Mondays for my daughter, I go, all right, come on, sanitize your hands before we leave the parking lot. Like I'm not like a germaphobe, but I'm just more aware of like touching my face and spreading germs inside the house, even though we were all sick throughout the winter, but whatever. Um, and like you said, Luke, like life is too fucking short, and I feel like I've noticed that a lot more over the past couple of years. That like I'm not meeting my full happiness potential, so then I just said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna do what makes me happy," and I'm gonna go upstate and see my friend. I'm gonna go out to the beach and spend a weekend with my friend if he's available. Like I'm gonna go out to dinner with my friends, and I'm not gonna feel guilty anymore for going out and having fun, like just either by myself or with my husband, or like it just I'm gonna do what I want because life is too short, and like you said, tomorrow something awful could happen, and I want to make sure that I live my happiest life until the last moment. So fuck everybody else and what they think. I'm gonna keep posting TikToks. I'm gonna keep staying on my podcast. I'm gonna keep being me, and I don't give a shit. Like you said, it just now people have to
I
live
think
in my world because I'm
the
done living in
podcast actually really helped. I know that especially you weren't around for it, but when there was nothing else going on, Luke, we were like, at least we have a podcast, at least we have something to work towards.
Well, it got us in touch too with like people we would never talk to. I mean, Christian, we would never be friends. We made friends
I
with
know.
like pop stars that we grew up listening to, like stuff like that happened from this.
Celebrities that had all this downtime that are like, hey, well, yeah, I'll come and talk to you on your show. Like,
yeah,
it did breed about 9 million other podcasts. That's the downside, is that everyone got a podcast, and now it's really hard to find people to come on your
I don't think
podcast.
people realize Uncensored Radio though was around when podcasts weren't huge, when there was like a handful of podcasts.
They didn't exist.
Uncensored Radio was back in the pioneer days of podcasts.
It's a radio show. That's why it's called
Uncensored Radio show. Dial in. You actually had to dial a phone number and ring up to talk to them.
But the interesting thing is, like, it's our little, Cracker Barrel lemonade stand that we just think, that we do for our own health and safety, to get on here and vent and talk to people that we like to talk to. We've had people message us and say, thank you for doing the show, and thank you for continuing to doing the show during COVID, because it kept me sane during COVID. Like, the numbers that we were getting, especially towards the middle / end of the podcast, of those were huge, because everyone was stuck at home, and it's like, what do? We kind of became event television for some people. They're like, I've got to tune in, and then life got busy again, and it's really interesting to watch. But having been through there and having this really helped me, because I'm like, well, I know that we've got 2 live shows that we were doing 2 live shows back in the day. We've got two things that we have to be prepared for the week, and no matter what was going on news wise, because there wasn't a lot of news, we had to fill in and make it work, and we did.
So we ended up with the whole ejaculate in the eye show.
And it's but it's because we would spend more time offline talking to each other. Like, as we always say, the better part of the show is always after the show, when we're like, rah, and letting it have it living our lives.
I know. I'm going to show Christina my bruises after the show, but I'll do it.
I think it definitely brought all of us closer too. It definitely brought all of us closer too, as a podcasting family, because our only outlet was each other. So it's very interesting.
TikTok, I wouldn't be here. Like, me and Jeff met, like, I wouldn't have known, like, he wouldn't have met me, and just the beauty of me being on TikTok because I had nothing else to do during COVID and I was bored and
Yeah.
during the day I was like, fuck it, let me just download the app. It's stupid. I'm not going to do anything anyway. No,
You
I'm
never
just going to
know
start posting
what the
videos.
universe is putting you in the.
Or if
The
we're meant
universe
to
is
be
putting
brought
things
together.
ahead for
And
you.
I think we were, weren't we? We're all meant to come
Yes,
together.
and look,
Meant
there
to
are
be.
some interesting things happening, and when we can talk to you about some of them, we will. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
Peter Ray Johnson, isn't it? We can just
No, I'm not saying anything. There's other stuff
sorry.
going on.
Oh,
There's
okay,
other stuff going on too. We got stuff. We got things. But thank you for joining us today. It feels weird without events, but Vera's living it up in New York City.
Yes, she
Rude.
is.
Yeah, she is. But look, Vera's allowed to have some time off. She works hard.
Vera's on
She vents
Broadway.
hard. She lives hard. She plays hard. So thank you for joining us today, ladies and gentlemen. Luke was kind enough to put all of our social medias up. Please make sure you're following us, check us out, all that kind of thing, and share it. We're gonna keep bringing you the shit. Tim's ready to just laugh about something, so we're gonna have a round table. He's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm feisty." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So we'll have a round table coming at you soon. I'm sure that there's always more uncensored horror, but we will have good stuff for you, and we'll talk to you all again real soon. Take it easy, folks. We'll see you next week for another load of hot topics. Bye.